Welcome everybody to another weekly statistics review. First of all, I hope you've all had a good week trading. I hope it's been profitable for you, and if it has not, don't worry. As long as you have a profitable plan and you stick to it over time, you will be. Now, what I want to do is, as usual, talk through my figures, and these figures are the signals that were physically sent out to fully subscribed members. These are the signals that go to people with videos on when to buy, when to sell, with entry stops and targets. So this is pure accountability, pure transparency. There's no smoke and mirrors here. Everything is as is seen. These are the physical trades sent out. Now, first of all, we finished in profit. Now, we did finish by 14 pips, okay? So we didn't finish negative. So if it's above zero, then that's classed as a win within the Forex market. Anything above zero is classed as a win. Nevertheless, I'm not very happy the way this week has gone. And in actual fact, even though last week, if you remember, we finished around 123 pips up, something like that. I wasn't very happy with that week either, but I didn't express my concerns then, but I am going to in this video. And I'm going to come to that very shortly. What I'm going to do though is just run through these trades and how we work this out. So this is the total trades, 16. So we took a total of 16 trades where signals were sent out to subscribed people. One of those trades was in grey. This was a break-even trade. That meant that the other trades, which were in red, were losers, and in green were winners. So that meant that there was total losses of 10 and the total wins were 5. So that meant there was actually 15 trades that we either won or lost on, and that gave us just here a win rate of just 37.5%. Now, I do say this every week that your win rate really doesn't matter that much, because you can take 3 or 4 trades where you lose 10 or 15 pips, playing for the same trade, and then you actually win on that trade maybe 70 or 80, or you have a 2 or 3 to 1 reward to risk, and you maybe only have a 30% win rate, but over time you're going to make pips. So your win rate is not that important, though it is part of the statistics. So I'm just going to run through a few of the trades, and I'm going to talk about a very important change that's going to happen next week. So, beginning of the week, we had this AB equals CD pattern, loss for 23. We had the trade of the week, trend continuation, run 1 for 130. Then we had this trend continuation that lost for 12, a bat pattern that lost for 20, a low and tight flag that lost for 52, a bat that won for 28, a wedge that won for 29, a double top that won for 15, a flag that won for 17. Then we had 3 advanced patterns that lost in a row. We had a Gartley for minus 18, a bat for minus 20, a bat for minus 13, couple of small trend continuations, minus 13, minus 17, and then a cipher for minus 17. Now, you may have already picked up on the theme, and that is that bats, ciphers and Gartleys have performed very, very poorly. And I did mention this in last week's video, and I'm going to run over what the statistics would have been without them. And guys, this is the great thing about this latest trades platform. You can come on here and have a look at the most profitable strategies. For instance, let's just reset this form and give you, for example, let's go and look at flag patterns. Flag patterns themselves have done very, very well. We hit a losing streak here, but generally speaking, we have a high win rate and it earned 339 pips. Let's go and look at Head and Shoulders. Recently, Head and Shoulders haven't performed. Previously to that, they have. They had a win rate of 50% and total pips 73. So when you get the signals, you don't have to take every trade. You can maybe just take the ones that have the highest win rate. Trend continuation has a win rate of 68%. Okay, and total pips 361. So you can go ahead and pick your strategy. You don't have to take every trade signal. So let me just bring back on this week. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, just before I give you the big news, I'm going to talk through the advanced patterns, and they are bats, ciphers and Gartleys. So we had here a losing bat for 20, a winning bat for 28, a losing Gartley for 18, a losing bat for 20, a losing bat for 13, and a losing cipher for 17. So that was 6 advanced patterns that were taken, 5 of them lost, and only 1 of them won. Now, if, like a few of you that are receiving the trade signals I've been speaking throughout the week, who've said that they don't trade advanced patterns, they trade everything else, well, you've had a very good week. You didn't make 14 pips. In fact, you made 74 pips of profit this week, and that was just through not working bats, ciphers and Gartleys. And more than that, your workload was pretty much halved, because out of the 15 total trades here, 6 of them you were not involved with, so you had around 40% less signals and 40% less work. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you earned 74 pips of profit, and your total win rate went from 37.5% to 44%. So not a massive increase, and that's why I say your win rate isn't really that important, but your total pips went to 74. Now, if we also look at last week, and I'm not actually going to bring it up, but you guys can just log on and you just go here and select the date, and you actually select the 17th, which was last Monday, and that will show the last 2 weeks. Now, if you actually did that, then your figures would have been completely different. Your total pips earned would have been, for the last 2 weeks, 252 pips. In fact, just let me 17th, okay, yeah, on this, so far from the 17th, which is the last 2 weeks, the total pips have been 111 with a win rate of 40%. Without advanced patterns, without bats, ciphers and Gartleys, you would have banked 272 pips. And as I say, there's at least a couple of traders who I've been talking to who don't trade the advanced patterns, and they've earned 272 pips. What it meant for your win rate was that your win rate went up to 48%. So not a massive jump, but that doesn't matter. The total pips, 272 pips in 2 weeks. So congratulations to you guys. Let's just go back to the normal, to this week's statistics, okay? And guys, you don't have to trade every single signal that's sent out. Again, just pick the one that suits you or that has the highest win rate, or if you want to trade all of them, you're more than welcome to. Now, let's come to the big news. Those of you that have been following me for a long time would have known that for around 9 months or so, just before the launch of this website, I ceased trading bats, ciphers and Gartleys. Okay, and the very, very simple reason for that was because they were my least profitable strategy. However, when I did the educational material and it was part of the educational course, I thought it was only right that we also trade bats, ciphers and Gartleys. But what I do know about bats, ciphers and Gartleys is that they are profitable, but we do see prolonged periods of heavy drawdowns with them before we see the pips earned back. And I'm now at the point where I think to myself, well, the whole point of this website, Free Forex Education, is one, to teach people how to trade my strategies and how to read structure. And you can either trade them then or go off and develop your own strategies. But 2, if you're receiving the signals, is basically to make you money. And if we have a strategy like bats, ciphers and Gartleys, which are underperforming or that are providing a deep drawdown, which really isn't required and is causing you to receive a lot more signals and a lot more work, entering the trades, managing them, exiting them. If I can get rid of them, reduce your drawdown, increase your pips, reduce the number of signals you're getting by about 40%, well, doesn't that make sense? So guys, as of next week, that is exactly what I'm going to be doing. In fact, there's only going to be 2 situations where we're going to be taking bats, ciphers and Gartleys. One is we're going to be taking them in trend continuation because they are very good for an entry reason into a higher time frame move. Number 2, we will still take them, but only if we have a rotation pattern. So that's a double top or double bottom or a head and shoulders. I used to trade it this way, and I can tell you it's not very often that we get that type of confluence. So the number of signals you'll get will probably drop to just half a dozen a month. Obviously, that will vary dependent on the number of opportunities that actually happen. But again, just to clarify, this week, something to be proud of. We did not finish negative. We finished positive. Well done to those traders that did not take advanced patterns. You finished around 74 pips up, but those traders are actually now around 252 pips up since starting a couple of weeks ago. I wish it was me, guys. Unfortunately, what you see is the trades I've taken throughout the week, and it's pure transparency. I wish I was like you guys that earned the 252 pips in the last 2 weeks, but my 2-week figures are up 111. But next week, guys, no advanced patterns. And please, if you haven't yet registered, come on, have a look at the figures yourselves. Register for the signals. Actually see the signals live. We're not just sending out a buy order or a sell order. We're physically doing a YouTube video which you can watch, which talks about the rules and how we do the top-down analysis. And those rules are specifically the same as what's in the educational material. So you can, again, we've only got, without the advanced patterns, our win rate is only 48%, but the total pips is 252 pips, guys. Okay, so as a minimum, come and check it out. Take a look. Be part of the forum. Chat with other like-minded traders. So to finish on a positive, we did finish positive 14 pips, but I'm not happy, and that's the change we're going to be making next week. Apart from that, guys, I want you to have a great week. You've all worked hard this weekend. I know I have. I've been busy talking to people within the chat, getting to know them, building up relationships. It's been great. There's some great traders in there, all at different levels of experience, which is really good. And do you know what, guys? They're being active in the chat. They're being part of the community. And there's a couple of trades here. One in particular that won that I didn't see, and a trader posted it in, and it met the rules. We took it and it won. And so I would have missed that trade without other people being in the chat, helping us all, not just me, but helping everybody. So enjoy your weekend, guys, and I will see you all either in the chat on Monday or for the net statistic review next week.